Belarus, a remarkable European nation, has deep roots in the history of the former Soviet Union. It is geographically situated in the northern region of Europe, sharing land borders with Poland to the west, Lithuania and Latvia to the north, and Ukraine and Russia to the east and south. Indeed, Belarus is strategically located between Russia and Europe, although its territorial extent is smaller compared to Russia. From a European perspective, its area of about 207,000 square kilometers is larger than many countries on the continent. With a population of approximately 9.5 million people, the population density is relatively low, contributing to a more serene environment. It's important to note that Belarus does not have a coastline and is characterized by vast plains and extensive swampy areas. Approximately 40% of its territory is covered by forests and lakes. In short, Belarus is primarily a landlocked nation situated between Russia and Europe. Looking at its recent history, Belarus has often been a battleground between Russia and Poland until the 20th century. Over time, its lands were divided among the Russian, Polish, and Austro-Hungarian empires at different times. During World War I, Belarusian territory was occupied by Germany, but Germany's withdrawal after the war allowed Poland to annex western parts of Belarus. Subsequently, Belarus became part of the Soviet Union as one of its territories. In 1991, like many other Soviet Union countries, Belarus gained its independence. Currently, the Belarusian people share linguistic and ancestral ties with Russia, and over 80% of the population practices the Orthodox faith. Compared to other European countries, the Catholic presence in Belarus is less pronounced. Moreover, the number of Belarusian and Russian speakers in Europe is significantly lower compared to Russia. Genetically, Belarusians have typical Slavic features, with blonde hair, colored eyes, and taller stature. Belarusian women are widely considered beautiful, with a strong sense of personal care. This is not an exaggeration, as their beauty is notable and a distinctive trait of Belarusian society. Each of these women bears striking similarities to Russian women and shows remarkable hospitality towards foreigners. Indeed, it is widely known that many men from different parts of the world travel to Belarus simply to appreciate the beauty of its women. Belarusian women seem to have inherited extraordinarily attractive genetic traits and exude an absolutely fascinating appearance. Therefore, we can state that Belarus shares a significant cultural and genetic affinity with Russia in virtually all aspects. If you are enjoying this documentary, please leave a like. This helps us create high-value content for you. If you are interested in exploring Belarus, it's important to know that it is possible to reach the capital, Minsk, via direct flights from virtually anywhere in the world throughout the year. A great advantage for us Italians is that we can stay in Belarus for up to 30 days without facing bureaucratic complications related to visas. Furthermore, within a year it is possible to enter and exit the country at any time, as long as the limit of 90 days of continuous stay is not exceeded. However, if your stay exceeds 5 days, you must register your address. Additionally, if you are not a citizen of a Schengen area country, according to Belarusian laws, you will need to purchase health insurance upon entering the country. This is because the country's healthcare system does not unconditionally cover medical expenses for foreigners. To obtain this insurance, you need to spend about 31 euros per month of coverage, or approximately 170 euros for a year. If you intend to visit Belarus not only for tourist and cultural purposes, but also to work or settle, you will have to follow additional procedures. For example, you will need to submit an application at the competent embassies and consulates and wait patiently for processing. Naturally, for a prolonged stay, obtaining a residence permit will be essential. There are two main ways to achieve this goal. The first option involves an official marriage with a Belarusian citizen, which will allow you to rent a house and look for work in Belarus. The second alternative is to receive an invitation from a company officially registered in the country that fulfills its tax obligations. Obtaining employment in this company makes the process of obtaining a residence permit considerably quicker and more direct. Moreover, it is important to emphasize that Belarus is recognized as a safe country. Despite alcohol consumption and entertainment, the local population manages to keep their impulses under control. Belarus is perhaps one of the most welcoming places to enjoy moments of fun throughout Europe. The streets come alive at night, and Belarusians add a special touch with their remarkable beauty. If you wish to get to know and befriend local residents, having knowledge of the Belarusian or Russian language will be a significant advantage. Belarusians tend to establish connections more easily with those who share their language, fostering mutual trust. Although English is widely understood in the capital, Minsk, it is not as common to find people fluent in English on the streets. Despite the vibrant nightlife and alcohol consumption, crime rates are contained, and the general population is tolerant and welcoming towards foreigners. With care and personal attention, you will surely make friends in Belarus. If you are a fan of alcoholic beverages, you will feel at ease as Belarusians share a notable resistance to alcohol, comparable to that of the Irish. The Belarusian people accustomed to consuming vodka and beer quite regularly, almost as if they were common beverages. Moreover, one of the country's main sources of income, besides the remaining industrial companies from the Soviet era, is undoubtedly tourism. Consequently, the country's tourism landscape is very dynamic. People visit not only to meet new people, but also to appreciate the remarkable architecture of Belarus. The country carefully preserves many constructions from the Soviet era, preserving its historical heritage. Even though it has adopted a more westernized appearance today, Belarus nurtures deep respect for its past. However, it is important to note that if you do not like cold climates, it might be advisable to avoid Belarus for most of the year, as temperatures can drop significantly. January in particular brings temperatures often below 20 degrees C, resulting in harsh winters. For this reason, many opt to visit Belarus in spring and autumn. Now let's explore some aspects of daily life in Belarus, starting with the financial aspect. The currency used in the country is the Belarusian ruble, and the current minimum wage is about $150. However, it is important to emphasize that most Belarusian citizens do not earn the minimum wage. After tax deductions and other obligations, the average salary of a worker in Belarus is around $500 to $600. Regarding the cost of renting apartments, average prices usually do not fall below $400 per month in the capital Minsk. Additionally, you must consider an additional monthly cost of about $50 for electricity and water services. It is important to note that until last year, these prices were about half of the current ones. However, due to the conditions in Russia and Ukraine, there has been a price increase due to the influx of migrants, a phenomenon observed worldwide. It is also important to mention that most residences in Belarus consist of older buildings with at least 20 years of existence. Although Belarus is a country of fascinating beauty, with its unique architecture and welcoming people, it is necessary to observe that there are strict regulations in force. For example, animal lovers might feel restricted, as it is forbidden to walk dogs in public parks and ride bicycles in these places. Alcohol consumption and smoking are also strictly prohibited in public places, such as parks. Strict adherence to these rules is important, as violation can result in fines and, for foreigners, even deportation. Respect for the environment is taken seriously in Belarus, contributing to a clean and well-maintained urban environment. Finally, it is important to emphasize that Belarus maintains a strict legal structure, which includes the death penalty, a policy that attracts criticism from European countries. This rigidity in Belarusian policies, generally aligned with Russia, can make it difficult to establish warm relations with European countries. Belarus is the only European country where the death penalty is still legal and applied. Additionally, when visiting public parks, it is important to follow strict rules, such as not littering, as this can result in fines and actions by the civilian police. Thus, even in such a beautiful country, compliance with norms is essential for a pleasant stay. The cuisine in Belarusian restaurants often consists of fast food-style dishes, many of which resemble pizza in their form. It is important to note that if you are Muslim, more than 80% of meat dishes in restaurants might contain pork. Therefore, it is advisable to always ask questions before ordering. Even if you do not speak Russian or Belarusian, a basic knowledge of English can be helpful to communicate your dietary preferences. However, if you are looking for culinary options other than pizza, you might notice that the consumption of raw fish dishes, such as sushi, is quite common in many places. This might pose a challenge for those with different dietary preferences. After a meal in a Belarusian restaurant, leaving a tip of about 10% of the bill amount is considered standard. The culture of service is evident in the country's restaurants, and many establishments add a service charge to the bill. Exploring the streets of Belarus, you are likely to notice many vehicles from the Soviet era still in use. This reflects the fact that being a relatively young country, Belarus is still in a significant development phase. However, an interesting aspect is that the country's workforce is predominantly composed of women who play important roles in various sectors. Belarusian women are known not only for their beauty, but also for their hard work. Belarus stands out as the largest producer of dairy products in Europe in industrial terms, offering a wide range of natural dairy products. This contributes to the longevity of the population, with many Belarusians living to the age of 80 years or more. Additionally, Belarus ranks 7th among the world's largest potato producers, and potatoes are an essential component of the local cuisine. There are over 300 dishes prepared with potatoes, offering a surprising variety. The emphasis on agriculture and the food industry reflects the fertility of the country's lands, making it less vulnerable to global food crises. During visits to public markets, you will notice that most vendors are women. It is important to note that bargaining is not common in these markets, especially in public markets, where vendors do not appreciate negotiation. Interacting with Belarusians requires generosity and avoiding counting money, as liberality is appreciated. Regarding the male population, many Belarusian men emigrate to other European countries or Russia in search of better salaries due to the disparity between local wages and the high cost of living. They usually find work abroad and send money to their families in Belarus. Consequently, traveling through the country, you might notice a greater presence of women compared to men. The gender imbalance is significant, with about 4.5 million men and over 5 million women in Belarus. Male emigration abroad affects this demographic balance, making it more common to see women, especially in urban areas like Minsk. It is important to note that in Belarus, it is rare to find homeless people or beggars on the streets, thanks to the relatively high level of prosperity. If you encounter someone in this situation, they are probably a recent arrival in the country. A notable aspect of Belarus is the absence of racism, regardless of nationality. Belarusians are genuinely friendly and have a deep love for their country and those who visit it. Many Belarusians marry foreigners and sometimes move to their spouse's country. In short, Belarus is a nation of extraordinary beauty, with pristine nature and an incredibly welcoming and friendly people. Now share what you think. Have you ever been to Belarus, or would you like to visit? Do so in the comments. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel.